Hey everybody, thanks for joining me again. I just wanted to say I'm glad I took the day off. Not yesterday, the day, 3 days ago. It actually helped me figure out what I wanted to do with my business. I feel like I started out trying to do too much, but sitting here doing this stream, trying to get it out into as many videos as possible, try to get my um, viewers out there. That way I can bring them over to Twitch and hopefully actually start live streaming this with you guys. That way we can draw it out from 1 or 2 hours to 4 to maybe 6 hours. You guys can just give me live updates. We can chat. We can draw things out. It'll be a great time, man. But I don't know. It gave me a lot of my confidence back the other day. I spent all of yesterday editing. I got faster at it over time. Uh, so yeah, now we're right back into it. I'm not streaming, so I don't have anybody to talk to. Still just talking to myself. It's probably gonna be like this for a week or two until we get some people. But hey, that's totally fine. Anyways, I wanted to start off today not with some memes or anything super funny. I wanted to share something that Elon just said. He said, "I love at real Donald Trump as much as a straight man can love another man." A bit odd, I would say, but hey, Elon's having a great time. He's being honest. I ain't gonna judge him for that. Uh, but let's move on to the first segment, the first video I wanted to talk about. It is a plane just went down last night, or we don't even know if it went down, but I mean, it's been missing for 14 hours. A plane doesn't fly for that long, especially if it was like a 10 passenger plane or like a eight or nine people were only supposed to be on it, something like that. So I'm assuming it's not very big, doesn't have a great or a huge gas reservoir. No way it's still in the air. If it hasn't touched an airport, then it's probably crashed at this point. They're still looking for it. Nobody's found it. Yeah, let's just get into it.
I have to interrupt right now from the first alert desk because just minutes ago we learned some brand new information about a desperate search in Alaska for a plane that disappeared with 10 people on board. This is all going on as we speak in the western part of the state. We know about 10 hours ago the Coast Guard contacted the pilot of a Bering caravan plane that was flying over open ocean towards Nome, Alaska. Now they
Wait, so they actually had a contact with the thing?
haven't heard from anybody on board since. Right now, the Coast Guard, State Police, and National Guard are all leading this massive search. Again, the second we learn more information, we'll let you know right away. Scott?
It sounds like yeah, they did a check-in. They said everything was fine, and then they never checked back in. And then when the National Guard or Coast Guard or whoever it was that controls the airspace tried to get into contact with them, or get in contact with them again, they never got in contact back. That's what it sounds like to me, but man, my thoughts and prayers are out with these people, but it is starting to get a bit weird, ain't it? I mean, this is the third one. We had the accident, what was that, 10 days ago? Yeah, it was about 10 days ago, right? Helicopter right outside an airport crashed into an airplane. I think it was carrying 63 people, something like that. Or I think it was 63 people in total that perished, sadly. Very, very weird circumstances. I don't see how there can be any correlations, though. And the second one was a medical evac helicopter that crashed in Philadelphia. That was a couple of days ago. I think 6 people died in that one. Anyways, I pulled up a news story. That way we can get some more information to figure out what's going on. He did say that the National Guard is on the ground right now, though.
The second we learn more information, we'll let you know right away. Now, they haven't heard from anybody on board since. Right now, the Coast Guard, State Police, and National Guard are all leading this massive search. Again, the second...
Man, that's amazing to hear, especially in the state of Alaska where it's very hard to mobilize. You know, I hear in winter they actually have to fly just to be able to, like, traverse long distances. I'm glad to hear that our government is finally doing something. They're taking action. I like it. Let's get into the story, though. I gave it a quick little scroll through. Rescuers search for a missing plane carrying 10 people in Alaska. So I'm assuming it's going to be 9 passengers, 1 pilot, maybe 8 passengers, 2 pilots. Let's find out. Rescuers searched on Friday for any sign of a plane that went missing while carrying 10 people. Um, the Bering Air Caravan, a single-engine turboprop, that sounds like a smaller airplane to me, was heading from Unalakleet to Nome on Thursday afternoon with 9 passengers and a pilot. Yep. It is a community of about 700 people. It marks the third major incident. Yeah, very, very odd stuff going on this week. It was called the Cessna Caravan. It left at 2:37 p.m. and officials lost contact with it less than an hour later. It was operating at its maximum passenger capacity, so they probably didn't have a lot of fuel either, right? So I know the heavier a plane or helicopter is, the more fuel it burns, right? Bering Air serves 32 villages in western Alaska from hubs in Nome. Most destinations receive twice daily scheduled flights Monday through Saturday. Okay. So it's just like a little town, a little port, right? Let me see if there's anything else. Due to weather and visibility, we are limited on air search at the current time, it said. People were told not to form their own search parties because the weather was too dangerous. Wow. Yeah, just leave it to the professionals, guys. The sad truth is at this point, they've more than likely crashed, and if anybody's alive, it's going to be really hard to find them because they might not be able to walk. It might be bleeding out. I mean, by the time you find the airplane, the person that was alive may not even be alive, and you may not ever be able to find out if they were. So, unfortunately, sounds to me like it's a bit too late, but like I said, my thoughts and prayers are out with these people and the families. I really hope everything's okay, even though the numbers don't really say that. Very sad situation for America today. This week in general. Anyways, moving on, I wanted to talk about this because I saw nobody else was talking about it. Trump's ICE crackdown could get a boost in Florida with DeSantis' plan to deputize state patrol. So it sounds like to me, Ron DeSantis here wants to train his state patrol officers, like the highway police, right? He wants to train them into deporting people. Training, essentially performing the functions of an immigration officer. That's right. Governor Ron DeSantis last week signed an agreement that could soon deputize Florida highway patrol officers to perform the functions of federal immigration officers, and the head of a union representing a majority of troopers has concerns about the decision. He signed a memorandum between the Florida Highway Patrol and U.S. Immigration, giving troopers the authority to exercise immigration power. So he's already done it. That's great. Governor DeSantis understands the role of law enforcement and wants to provide the strongest immigration law possible, empowering law enforcement to get to work and deport illegal aliens residing in the state, Florida Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles Executive said in a statement. Let's see, what else? I want to make sure you guys actually get the good stuff and I'm not just sitting here for 20 minutes rambling on. The bill the Florida legislature passed fails to honor our promises to voters, fails to meet the moment that we would actually weaken state immigration enforcement, the governor said at a press conference. He does have a point about that. Let's see what he says here. We must have the strongest law in the nation on immigration enforcement that will guarantee state and local deportation assistance, end catch and release, eliminate magnets such as remittances, and adopt supporting policies that will protect Floridians. That is absolutely amazing. I honestly don't even know what else he could do better there. That's fucking great. It looks like we got a video here too if you want to watch that. I wonder where they're all coming from though. They look Hispanic, which I'm not surprised because a lot of immigrants in Florida are of Latino nature, Cuban nature. The legislature's immigration priorities have included a mandatory death penalty for illegal immigrants convicted of a capital offense. Wow. You don't hear about that every day. Enhancing sentences for illegal immigrant gang members, yeah. Expanding shared intelligence among law enforcement agencies. Okay, so good communication. We always need more of that. Strengthening enforcement of public officials' compliance with the state law. Banning sanctuary jurisdictions. Okay. Financial incentives for training law enforcement officers who help ICE task force. That's great. It sounds like he wants to do all the right things. Man, I got a bit more respect for Ron DeSantis today. Let's go ahead and watch this video. If it'll load. What's going on? Okay, there we are. That's Fox News for you, I suppose.
Dana Marie.
Hi, Harris. As security strengthens at the southern border, authorities here say they've seen increased activity. I got a firsthand look at how and where these smugglers are dropping off these Chinese illegal migrants.
By water, yeah.
A Chinese man was stopped by the U.S. Coast Guard 25 miles off the Bahamas. He had a suitcase strapped to 2 paddle boards, and he said he was going to Miami. Late last month, police caught 2 large groups of Chinese migrants who they say were smuggled by boat into South Florida. After getting dropped off, 21 were found hiding in the back of a U-Haul. Another group of 26 was heading to Orlando.
So we found a group of 21 Chinese immigrants and another group of 26 Chinese immigrants. And they're all coming by water from boat nearby. I have some goddamn questions, dude. First of all, why the hell are the Chinese not coming by plane? What the fuck do they have to hide if they're not willing to go through airspace regulations, TSA pat-downs? What the hell are they hiding? What is their agenda? What are they here for? If they're needing to avoid being identified, then that makes me wonder if they're of military age. And I mean, they look a bit like it. They don't look built like the military, but very, very odd situation. Where the hell are they coming from? By the boat?
Authorities believe in both cases, smugglers from the Bahamas entered this canal in Miami's Coral Gables neighborhood.
Or about.
Wait, so they're coming. The Chinese people are going from China to the Bahamas to an island off Florida to Florida? And you mean to tell me they're not hiding something? What the fuck? What the fuck are Chinese people doing in the Mediterranean? That's what I want to know. Weird.
10 miles south of downtown Miami, but it's only about an hour boat ride from the Bahamas. Easy access for smugglers to bring people to the Florida coast.
It's an hour-long boat ride. First, we start island hopping Japan, and what, now they start island hopping us? Is that what's going on?
On the other side of those mangroves, actually a path.
Florida Congressman Carlos
Jimenez
says it's the perfect place to drop off migrants.
Vans were ready to pick them up just right at the end of that road.
Yeah, it's an operation. They have a rendezvous point, and then they go. We have so many miles to protect.
The Florida coastline is 4 times the length of the U.S.-Mexico border. Local, state, and federal agencies.
Hold up. So I'm assuming they're coming from one of these islands. The Chinese? That sounds to me like we're about to have another Cuba situation. Where they want to get close to us, but not technically in U.S. territory, but close enough to where they can send nukes or missiles. That's literally what the Cold War was, wasn't it? Was them trying to get close enough to be able to send it? Since all the other communist countries were way overseas in like Europe and shit, they needed something in South America. Wasn't that the whole point of it? I'm getting that same exact vibe from that. Or it's like they're like preparing a port or something.
Of the U.S.-Mexico border. Local, state, and federal agencies work together to patrol the waters. Getting to the Bahamas for the Chinese is easy. There are no visa requirements. Just buy a ticket
Why?
and go.
We've got to pay
How?
more attention to this region. The proximity matters. They are on the 20-yard line of our homeland.
Yeah, they're right outside.
And lawmakers have sounded the alarm on China's involvement in the Caribbean. They've not only invested millions in tourism, but infrastructure in the Bahamas. Harris.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is the Caribbean. I don't know why I said Mediterranean. I guess I don't really even know the difference. But yeah, I guess it'd be the Caribbean. Wait, hold on. Did she say something about investment? Wait the fuck a minute.
And lawmakers have sounded the alarm on China's involvement in the Caribbean. They've not only invested millions in tourism, but infrastructure in the Bahamas.
The communists are building infrastructure an hour off the coast of our country, Americans. Does that not concern you? Does that not fucking concern you? It sounds to me like yeah, it's a Cuba situation, or they're building a port, or maybe they're just low-key annexing the Bahamas for future war. I don't know. It's a very weird situation. Do you think it has anything to do with the South China Sea and them not being able to have access to that? Do you think this is them like trying to get some access in between their country and like, oh, well, now we own the Bahamas, so now we own all the water in between? It's our jurisdiction. Do you think that's what it is, like a 4D chess move? I don't know, man. It's extremely possible. But it sounds like they could be just low-key annexing them. I don't know. Let's continue reading. I don't think we're done with this story yet. That's crazy. Chinese immigrants in the Caribbean. You never thought you would ever hear that. That's like hearing a whole bunch of Russians in China. It's just a very odd thing. All right, let's see what else is going on. What's going on with the legislature and the governor right now? We're almost caught in the middle, Smith said. There's no additional funding to pay for those additional duties. You know, it's easy to sign a piece of paper and say, we're going to have troopers do that now. Okay, well, are you going to pay me more money? Yeah, more duties, more money. I do agree with that sentiment. But didn't they say they were financially incentivizing financial incentives for training law enforcement who help ICE task force? They have financial incentives, don't they? So I'm not sure what this guy means. 41 years, stands by a need for immigration reform. But he believes the agency has already been underfunded for years and does not have enough money to operate. What? Our concern moving forward is we need increase to our pay. The trooper and the folks that do the job every day, they need to know that they can still put food on the table and be able to buy a house and raise some kids and things of that nature. Because right now, a trooper at starting pay is a permanent apartment dweller. Damn. Strong words, but okay. In the upcoming budget, Smith said the department is asking the legislature for $13 million. And for it to be fully funded, it looks like they're gonna need $27 million. Jesus, man. But then again, we've sent how much of billions of dollars to Ukraine and Afghanistan and Israel in the last 5 years? I don't see what $27 million is going to do. Or sorry, I should rephrase that. I don't see what the big deal is of just $27 million when we spend billions fighting other people's wars, right? There hasn't been any guidance from the governor's office about what our role will be. Excuse me. How many troopers does he want to assign to this? So he's just not being specific? Smith said there are nearly 150 trooper vacancies on the highway patrol right now, and that the government wants to cut 25 of them. So they're looking to hire people, but they need to fire people. Maybe they don't have the funding. Maybe Ron is just lying. Maybe they don't actually have the funding. He says they do. But, I mean, it's time for Ron DeSantis to nut up or shut up. It's time for him to put the money where his mouth is. If he wants these people out, he's gonna have to put the money up. That's really what it is at the end of the day. Another thing I wanted to talk about was I went ahead and I saw this. This is Justin Bieber. Diddy was trending on fucking X, and so I wanted to talk about it. Honestly, I wish people would just leave Justin Bieber be. The dude clearly has been through hell. I was hard at him 1.2, but I just feel bad for him at this point with the Diddy stuff. Dude needs to just relax with his new baby and heal. What is everybody talking about with the Diddy stuff? We've already known about the Diddy stuff. We've known about that shit for a long time. That's not anything new. So what else is going on other than just Justin Bieber?
Reiner, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and others. From The View, Rachel Maddow, Mark Ruffalo, Mark Hamill, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Richard Marx, Alec Baldwin, Pink, Ron Howard, Julia Roberts, George Clooney.
Guys, I don't know if this is real. Anybody can just rip off a piece of paper out of a notebook. I mean, for Christ's sake, just look at this and just write down celebrity names. A 40-year-old can do that. Come on, guys. The fuck? So what's going on? $278 million in taxpayer funds from the USAID. He was accused in court for having minors. Oh, jeez. He was the godfather of Diddy's children. What? Do you guys know who this is? A lot of people are tearing this kid, Justin Bieber, down because of this recent photo, but to think about the trauma he must have endured as a child under the tutelage of Diddy and the mental anguish he must live with daily makes me feel compassion for him. Oh my god, man. Seeing everyone all of a sudden pretend like they fucking knew what was going on with Justin Bieber and like somehow now all of a sudden have compassion for him just doesn't sit right with me. I find it fucking despicable. I find it disgusting. What these demagogues are not going to tell you is that while it is Diddy's fault, it is also Usher's fault. Okay, big time. It is Usher's fault as well because Usher lived Bieber's life. He quite literally lived it. And did he do anything about it? Did he stop to think, maybe because all these bad experiences I've had rolling with all these people I've been around, maybe I should go ahead and talk to Bieber because Bieber released that piano video. He was blowing up. Somebody was going to talk to him eventually. He should have talked to him first and prevented him from being around all these people, prevented him from having to go through the same trauma and bullshit he had to go through when Diddy mentored him, if that's what you want to call it. But did Usher do that? No. Usher showed up to his fucking house, cradled him like a baby, and then took him straight to Diddy's house for sleepovers, and then pretended to be his mentor. He essentially turned into Diddy. He became the fucking pimp. And does anybody want to talk about Usher? No. Everybody just wants to talk about Diddy because nobody wants to talk about the truth unless it's fucking socially acceptable. Well, you know what? I don't follow societal norms and I ain't gonna fucking do it. Okay? The truth of the matter is, Usher is also at fault. Is he in jail? No. Is he still walking around? Yes. Do people give a shit? No. Should people? Yes. Why don't you? That's my question. I don't know. Something to think about. I find it absolutely despicable that people all of a sudden just pretend like they care. Yeah, we've seen this shit going on for 20 years now. I saw this shit going on when I was fucking 13. When I was 13, I was able to see this. You guys are grown-ass men waiting for something to become socially acceptable just so you can talk about it. And then pretend like you've always known it or some shit. It's fucking aggravating, man. It really, really, really is. But yeah, I guess that's what's going on with Diddy. I guess people are just shitting on Justin Bieber because the dude's been through a lot. He really has. I feel bad for the guy. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. The last thing I wanted to talk about this morning was I wanted to talk about pop culture. I feel like last time I was on politics a lot. I wanted to talk a little bit about politics today, but I want to go into Wonder Woman. A new article just dropped today. Wonder Woman game has reportedly already cost Warner Bros. Games $100 million, nowhere close to releasing. A new report on Monolith's Wonder Woman video game has emerged, claiming that the project has undergone a reboot behind the scenes and so far cost Warner Bros. Over $100 million. It's claimed that the Wonder Woman game is still years away from being released. I am so sorry if you were actually excited about this game, but I don't think it's coming out. I'm sorry. A video game based on Wonder Woman has struggled to coalesce, according to people familiar with the project. Jason Schreier, I've heard that guy before. Early last year, it was rebooted and switched directors. The game already has cost more than $100 million, said the people who asked not to be identified discussing non-public information, and that it is still years from release if it ever makes it to the market. Shit. You know, this is going to be a really weird take, but do you guys ever just sometimes think about if companies didn't fail, we would all be rich? Like just think about it. Imagine how rich everybody would be if Disney just never made the new Star Wars movies. If Disney never made the new Star Wars TV shows and instead they just handed all that money out and they gave like $30,000 to people who wanted to start a business or grow a business. I mean, what is that? $3 billion divided by 30. Oh, Jesus, dude. That's we're talking tens of thousands of careers you could literally jumpstart or release some woke bullshit. Or it doesn't even have to be woke. It can just be mediocre art that people aren't loving. Maybe they don't hate it, but it's just mediocre. And well, why was it even made in the first place? And I'm just thinking of Disney Star Wars. Like, what about all companies? What about this $100 million? That's thousands of people they could have fucking helped jumpstart their career. I don't know. I'd just be thinking about that shit sometimes. Anyways, let's go ahead and watch this cinematic trailer. It is still a cinematic trailer from what I remember.
My daughter, a new threat comes to our shores, and I must call you home. Restore what has been broken. Unite old enemies. Forge new bonds. You are a hero, but you can be more. You can be a leader. You are Wonder Woman.
I don't know, guys. It's a cinematic trailer. At the end of the day, you never trust cinematic trailers. They're not actually the gameplay. You don't know what you're going to get. And this came out, what? How many years ago did this come out? 27? No, that was Shadows. It was right here. First revealed at Game Awards 2021. 40 years ago that came out. 4 years ago. Okay, so it says right here, Schreier also says that Monolith was originally interested in developing a new franchise after it released Middle-earth Shadow of War in 2017. Warner Bros. The executives at Warner Bros. Reportedly weren't interested in the Middle-earth Shadow of War proposal. 3 years later, the project was canceled. The executives suggested that Monolith should instead work on one of the company's franchises, and after the departure of studio head Kevin Stevens and several key creatives who would go on to form a new studio at EA to work on a Black Panther game, the rest of Monolith began development on the Wonder Woman game. So what? They said, no, we don't like your idea, and so the head went to EA instead to make the Black Panther game? Is that what happened? And now Wonder Woman's gonna fail because they thought their idea was better than his? That's essentially the vibe I'm getting from this. Schreier's report says that an early version of the game attempted to reimagine the Nemesis system from the Mordor games. I know that was a rumor, but it sounds like he's actually confirming it. Allowing Wonder Woman to befriend her enemies, this idea was eventually scrapped in favor for a more traditional action-adventure game, and the future of the project might be in jeopardy. It sounds like, to me, they wanted to go in like an open world, maybe like Suicide Squad or Assassin's Creed style. Yeah, no, I don't think they know what they're doing to be able to do that. This follows a trend at Warner Bros. Game as recent projects have failed to take off. Rocksteady's Suicide Squad, Killed the Justice League, was a $200 million flop. Could they really afford to lose another $100 million? Warner Bros. Montreal's Gotham Knights saw lukewarm sales when it launched, and Multiverses will shut down in May. That is sad. Wow. That's it. There you go. The Wonder Woman game. Here's what I think. If the game isn't out by 2027, it's not going to come out. I'm sorry to say. It ain't. Well, anyways, guys, that was it. I only had these 4 stories to talk about today. Not a lot happened. I didn't talk about yesterday's stories, so I might come back later on today, and we might go ahead and read the news that develops today and read the news that developed yesterday. But other than that, you guys have a great day. God bless you, and take care of yourself.